I'm deeply saddened to share news that I've dreaded since the earliest days of this outbreak, the first COVID-19 related death in Illinois. The patient, a woman in her 60s with an underlying condition, resided in Chicago, was not a nursing home resident, and was diagnosed with COVID-19 earlier this month. I want to extend my deepest condolences to her family members. I want them to know that the entire state of Illinois mourns with them. May her memory be a blessing. On Saturday, I announced that one of our new cases was a woman residing at a private long-term care facility in DuPage County. We acted immediately to send in an IDPH infectious control team to make sure that every precaution was being taken and to institute even more stringent procedures. They tested the home's entire population, including all residents and all employees, and tests so far have revealed 22 positive confirmed cases, 18 residents and 4 staff members. All of the individuals who have tested positive are now isolated at the facility or at a hospital, and visitors have been restricted. Dr. Ezike will go into further detail on the specifics of these cases, but I wanted to make the public aware and let them know the proactive efforts involved in IDPH's approach. This situation reinforces just how critical it is, especially for our vulnerable populations, that we get approvals and supplies from the federal government so that we can test large groups of vulnerable people earlier than we are able to now. My team and I have been on the phone day and night communicating with the medical testing supply chain. But the federal government is monopolizing supplies and not providing them to the states. They set deadlines and they blew through them. They told us capacity would increase, and it hasn't. The powerhouse research institutions here in Illinois, including universities, hospitals, and national laboratories, are lending their own world-class resources to the fight against COVID-19, but they're running into the same roadblocks that the state laboratories are. This is an incredible failure by the federal government, and every day that they continue to abdicate their responsibilities is another day that we fall behind. I've requested, and now I'm demanding, that the White House, the FDA, and the CDC produce a rapid increase in test deployment nationwide, or get out of the way and allow us to obtain them elsewhere ourselves. As you know, today is the first day of our K-12 school closure, which is scheduled to run through the end of this month. During this period, we will continue to distribute meals to all children who qualify for free and reduced lunch through delivery and parent pickup meal options, depending on the district. We're also encouraging schools to expand the meal distribution program to all children and to any student enrolled in an Illinois school, regardless of their age. Some districts have already done that. Today also marks the first day of our statewide closure of restaurants and bars for on-site consumption. So I want to proactively provide answers to a few of the most common questions that we've heard about the closure. First, for residents looking for a prepared meal, curbside pickup, drive-through, takeout, and delivery are all still permitted and being implemented by many establishments. We recommend patrons contact your local restaurants individually to see what approach they're taking during this period. We're also working directly with delivery service providers to help restaurants who don't already have delivery service, and already several major delivery companies have waived fees for independent restaurants. Price gouging in delivery fees, price gouging in general, will not be tolerated, and Attorney General Kwame Raoul is here today to talk more about his work on that front. I have directed my administration to do everything in our power to support our working families. I've expanded unemployment eligibility for those impacted by COVID-19. Most utilities have agreed to a moratorium on service shutoffs for residents who can't pay their bills during this period. We have filed a federal waiver to expand COVID-19 related Medicaid coverage. And we're working with the federal government to ease eligibility requirements for food assistance in programs like SNAP and WIC. We're also working expeditiously to mitigate the challenges that small businesses are facing. My Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity has secured the necessary documentation to declare a statewide economic injury declaration, and the U.S. Small Business Administration will receive it shortly. The SBA is offering coronavirus disaster assistance loans to help impacted companies get through this period of instability. And this will ensure that all of our counties qualify for assistance. Once approved by the SBA, you'll be able to access this through our DCEO website. As you know, we issued an updated order barring gatherings of 50 people or more. Establishments that provide essential services will remain operational under this mandate. Grocery stores, pharmacies, hospitals, gas stations, banks, credit unions, and shelters are a few key examples. Gatherings that are affected by this 50-person mandate include places like event venues, fitness centers and health clubs, bowling alleys, private clubs, theaters, and faith-based events. Before I turn over the podium, I want to address some statements made this morning by Chicago Board of Elections Executive Director Jim Allen. Last week, the Chicago Board asked me to do something that is unquestionably not within my legal authority. According to their statement earlier today, they wanted me unilaterally to cancel in-person voting on March 17th, convert Illinois to an all-vote-by-mail state, and extend vote-by-mail to May 12th. Not surprisingly, they could not even begin to explain the legal basis for their request, nor could they explain how they believed that they and election authorities across the state could effectively convert the election to all vote-by-mail. Nor could they promise the people of Illinois that the state would be able to hold an election on the suggested date of May 12th. I will not use this moment, to supersede my constitutional authority. I will not. There are people out there today who want to say, oh, it's a crisis, bend the rules and overstep your authority. Let me tell you this. It is exactly in times like these when the constitutional boundaries of our democracy should be respected above all else. And if people want to criticize me for that, well, go ahead. I'll wear it like a badge of honor. Every step that we've taken during this crisis, my legal team has understood and laid out our legal authority to do it. Where we felt my authority didn't extend to some action that we felt we needed to take to keep people safe, we have worked with the individuals or entities involved to get to the right answer. All of them have stepped up to the plate, all except the Chicago Board of Elections. The governor's office provided the opportunity to use the National Guard to help staff the election. And we also worked to recruit volunteers. 2,000 young people from the Mikveh Challenge were turned away from volunteering because the board wouldn't reduce red tape. So instead of accepting help or offering any solutions of their own, the Chicago Board of Elections decided to wait until Election Day to call the press and attempt to shift the blame for their failings. To any campaign that tries to claim that these election results are somehow illegitimate, if you are on Twitter 1 minute claiming Donald Trump is making dictatorial grabs and the next minute screaming that the governor needs to overturn state statutes and constitutional law to deny people their right to vote, you need to get your priorities straight. This is a time for serious people. It is not a time for games. It's not a time for political posturing. It's not a time to complain that you're being asked to do uncomfortable things, to make hard choices, to go above and beyond in your responsibilities. I have a responsibility to the people of the state of Illinois to make sure that democracy survives through everything, that through everything democracy will be preserved, that through everything democracy will be venerated. And I have a responsibility to the life and safety of the people of my state, to their well-being and to their health. We lost an Illinoisan today to COVID-19. There are going to be moments during the next few weeks and months when this burden feels like it is more than we can bear. But we will bear it. We will get through it. We will thrive and celebrate and gather and paint the river green for St. Patrick's Day and have weddings and parties and election night rallies again. And for the time being, we will be strong, because that's what this moment calls for. And that's what I know we're capable of.